Okay, so I'm going to break all of this down note for note, and I'll explain where all these notes come from so that you're not just memorizing a composition, but you'll understand sort of why it all works. That's the real value add here. And believe it or not, all of this can be related back to chords. These are chords, actually chord shapes. So when we started this, I started it in an A, and I played an A chord here using the E shape. And I actually didn't play the chord, but that's what I was thinking about. And so this first little phrase, you know, it's just like licks that live inside of the chord shape. So that's how I want you to think about this as we go into it, is these chord shapes are not meant to be literal so much, but they're containers. And inside of this container, we can add licks. And once you can see the fretboard that way, you have, it's sort of like Legos in a way. You can build things with it. You go to the D chord. So anyway, that's what we're going to look at over the course of 2 videos. In this video, we'll go through the first half of that composition. If you'd like to watch the second half, learn the second half of it, and also get the tablature for everything, which includes the on-screen tab viewer, you can get those extra materials by going to activemelody.com and doing a search for EP609. Let me mention this pickup. This is, somebody's going to ask about it. This pickup is called a Galletta, G-A-L-L-E-T-T-A. I believe that's how he spells it. And I think the website's Galletta Guitars, maybe. You can just do a Google search. But anyway, I saw this posted somewhere online a while ago, and I ordered it, and I actually kind of forgot about it, and it showed up in the mail the other day, and I installed it. I saw Ry Cooder with one, and that's kind of what gave me the idea. I always loved everything Ry Cooder does is cool. So if I see Ry Cooder with a pickup, it's like I've got to research it at least. So anyway, I got one myself, and I just sort of stuck it in the sound hole of this Gibson. And I'm not, it's not obviously permanently mounted. I've still got the cable sort of running out of it. I'm not sure if this is a guitar it's going to live in or not. So anyway, that was kind of the vision I had when I actually put the pickup in and thought, I'm going to have to write a song that will work with that. So anyway, check that out if you're interested in the Galletta pickup. So let's look at this first phrase. Actually, I'll play it, and then we'll talk about what's going on. So I started with the 5 chord, which is our E7. Just played an E7 here. That's a great way to start a standalone composition if you're not sure how to begin. Just play the 5 chord. And then I go right into... So let's look at that. Now, as I mentioned already, I'm thinking about this, the A chord using the E shape. And this little blues is played in the key of A. It's really pretty much a 1-4-5 in the key of A. So that's our 1 chord. And you don't have to play that chord, you just have to think about it so that you can see the triad right at the top of it. That's the first thing I played. Slid into that 3rd interval of the chord, which is the 6th fret 3rd string, and played strings 1 and 2 on the 5th fret. Now what I'm going to do here is, let me just show you the notes. I'm going to go between the 5th fret and 7th fret on the 2nd string, do a half bend on that 7th fret 2nd string, release it, and then you're going to walk it down 7, 5, 7 fret 3rd string, and then we're going to go 5th fret 3rd string, but push it a little bit sharp. It doesn't have to go all the way to the major 3rd, but that's what the idea is, and you hear this in the blues all the time. You're kind of always hitting that 3rd, that minor 3rd, and pushing it towards the major. And then you land on that 7th fret 4th string. So all together. Now these notes are pretty much the minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1. So off of this E shape, you've got that pentatonic scale in that pattern, and you can see all those notes were hitting up against that 5th fret, which happens to be the fret that you bar when you play the chord. Now the only note that wasn't in that was this 7th fret 2nd string, and that's a note that's in your major pentatonic scale. Right, your A major pentatonic scale. But when I do that half bend there, I'm pushing it into the minor pentatonic scale. So is that a minor pentatonic scale note? It kind of starts off major and it pushes into the minor. So those are the notes that live in that phrase, but I want you to think of that phrase as being something that lives inside of this E-shaped container. Now that's an A chord, but it's an E container. So that way you can use this in any key. So if we were playing something in G, you could go You've got those notes now, and these are your little Legos that you can start to build something with. So then we come to the D chord, which is our 4 chord. And instead of me playing a D chord like this, I played it like this. It's not that much different. It's really the same 3 notes, but we've added this note down here. Now this is coming out of the C shape. So if we're thinking cage system, this is our C shape. Now instead of me making that full chord, which I don't need, it's tricky for me to do that, to get my pinky in and hit that 5th string. I just play it like this. 4, 3, and 2, strings 4, 3, and 2. It makes it easy. I bar on the 2nd string, and then I put my fingers down like this. And so what I did was I slid into it on that 4th string, and then I went, and what that is, out of this chord here, this D chord using the C shape, if I put my pinky down on the 5th fret 3rd string, I've got a D7. So that's my flat 7. And so I know that, and this is just one of these things that I've memorized. I know kind of where my flat 7s are in these chord shapes. And off of the flat 7s, I know things I can do with them. I can do little licks like this, or work that into the Mixolydian scale. And I know where that Mixolydian scale is in reference to this chord shape. These are all things that you just kind of learn over time. But for now, let's make it simple. Let's just learn our D chord like this, and then that flat 7. And we'll work that into this lick, right? That's one lick, and we'll come back to it. I've got another lick, which sounds like that. So we'll get some more use out of that. Then the song goes back to the 1 chord, which is our A. And all I did was play this 2nd fret 4th string, and I'm thinking about this, right? My A chord down in 1st position. I'm gonna go from this chord shape back up to this one, like this. Are you seeing that? I just played a little bridge there to go from this shape. So this is on the 4th string, so it's 2nd fret, 4th fret, back to the 2nd fret, and then 4th fret 3rd string. We're gonna slide back up to that 3rd interval of my A chord here. So we're gonna make that triad. See what we did? We went from this chord shape to this chord shape. All right, so now just to keep things interesting, I threw in a major 2 chord, which you hear in a lot of country and a lot of blues. And so that major 2 chord is a B. It's a B major chord. Now B major would not be in the key of A if we're just looking at the chord family. A B minor would be, that'd be your minor 2, right? But you can make that minor 2 into a major chord, and that's a perfect sound to get you to the 5 chord. Why? Because a 2 major is the 5 chord of your 5 chord of the song. So just think about what I'm saying there. B is the 5 chord of E, which is the 5 chord of the key of the song of A. And so anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna make a B. And so I just did it right here on strings 2 and 3. I slid into it. It's on the 4th fret. Now why is that a B? Well, think about our chord shapes. There's a B chord using the A shape. Here's a B chord using the G shape. So I just slid into it. Pinky comes up to the 7th fret 2nd string, and then we're gonna go. So we're gonna go 5, 4 on the 1st string, and then come down to the 2nd string and go 7, 4, and then 5th fret 2nd string. Now what are these notes? These are all notes from my B Mixolydian scale. Right? Listen to this. It's the same as your major scale, you just flat the 7. Now how am I able to play through those quickly? this all comes back to the finger dance. Your fingers will learn how to do that dance by playing the major scale in 5 positions of the fretboard. You have to learn this. This is one of the biggest things that I ever learned, was learning how to play the major scale in all 5 positions of the fretboard. Those are the same 5 positions as your cage system chords. So from this E shape, I've got, right? I've got the major scale, and I can do it for each of the shapes all over the fretboard. And the reason I'm saying that you need to learn the finger dance of the major scale in all 5 positions is because once your fingers know how to do that, and they know how to do that dance, then they can easily play the other modes. And really, it's not that I get into the mode thing very often, but Mixolydian scale, which is one of those modes, I do play a lot. And you hear that in the blues, you hear it in jam band music. It's very common. You hear it in bluegrass a lot. So when we come to this B, and I'm playing Mixolydian, some of you are going, how would you be able to play that quickly? That's because the dance that my fingers are doing is the same, it's the same notes as my E major scale. B Mixolydian is my E major scale. They're the same exact notes. So once I can do the dance for my E major scale, I can play B Mixolydian. And so anyway, I don't want to get all into the whole mode thing, but that's what's going on. That's a very important thing. I'll put a lesson up on the screen if you want to learn your major scale in all 5 positions of the fretboard. So when I played that little B Mixolydian run, that's like, and I landed on that note, the 5th fret 2nd string, that's my E note. And then I played this note as well, which is 4th fret 3rd string. Now why I'm playing those 2 notes are, those are notes out of my E chord. That's where the song would go. That's the 5 chord. And my E would be here, right? You look, another chord shape that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing my E chord using the C shape, but just this little top part of it. In fact, just strings 2 and 3. So it's like this. Right? And that just sort of completes the sound of that E chord without having to get too involved. It's just enough of it. You're hinting at the E chord. Then the song goes back to the A chord, which is our 1 chord. And I played that, and it's back to that E shape here. We're doing the Chuck Berry, strings 1 and 2 on the 5th fret. Strings 2 and 3 on the 7th fret, and then watch this. So I'm just playing strings 2 and 3 out of this triad, but I'm sliding into it. So let's piece that together. We have, see how all of that is really just this, right? This is the container that this lives inside of. Now after I played this, I came down here and went, that's a slide down to the A major pentatonic scale pattern 1, which is connected to this A shape. Look at this. There's my A major pentatonic scale pattern 1, not minor, but major. So this is a light bulb already for somebody. I can feel it to go from up here to right down into this major pentatonic scale. Like once you can see that, it's like, oh yeah, I got that. So once you're into that major pentatonic scale, there's all kinds of things you can do. Then the song would go back to the 4 chord, which is our D chord, and here's what I played. I went. So let's look at that. So I'm starting with the open 4th string, which is our D note. And then from here, I'm going to do a slide with my ring finger, 3rd fret, 4th string, sliding up to the 4th fret, and then the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And what I'm thinking about here is my D Mixolydian scale. We're back to that. Listen to this. That's where that little slide into the flat 7 and play the D note. So it's like, so that's where that lick comes from. Now you can see it, right? And you can connect it back to your chord shapes. My fingers are just doing the dance of the major scale, which happens to be the G major scale. It doesn't, I don't think that way. I'm just feeling my way through the intervals. That's where you end up going with this. So I ended up playing. So we're going to go 4-2 on the 4th string. We're going to do a slide up to the 4th fret 5th string, and then down to the A note down there. That gets me back to my 1 chord, my A. So we have. And then once we're back to our 1 chord, our A, do the old G run sound, although we're doing, it would be more an A run, but it's like a bluegrass lick. And these notes are A major pentatonic scale, pattern 1. Except for that I'm sliding in from that 3rd fret to the 4th fret on that 5th string. But the rest of it is just A major pentatonic, pattern 1. And then the song goes back to the 5 chord now. So watch this. From this, I'm gonna slide back up to here. This is strings 2 and 3 out of this triad, right? Because we're still playing over the A chord. So I just went back to this shape, to my E shape. Now you're seeing it, right? Oh yeah, that's just out of that triad. And then watch this. I can walk that down 2 frets and that will represent my 5 chord. These are 2 notes out of my E7. Just remember that idea going forward. If you're playing this, right, and you're about to go to the 5 chord, you can just take it down 2 frets. So once we come down to here, which would be my E7, then I went, right, so I just did a little half step up, back to that E7 sound, and then back to my A chord in 1st position. And then watch this. Little kind of country lick. That's between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on the 4th string. And then a quick slide with my ring finger from the 4th fret 5th string down to the 2nd fret, and then down to that open A. You just have to memorize that lick as a little country lick off of this chord shape. And just to make sure that you've got that lick, do it off of another chord using that same shape though, right? So like here's a D chord. You could go. Right, so that's what I'm doing there. All right, well, hopefully you're starting to pick up some licks from this little country blues composition. And more important than that, you're starting to see that it's these chord shapes that are the secret sauce. Like once you can see the chord and you can understand some ingredients to put in that container, right? Those are just licks that live inside of that container. That makes the whole thing easier. Then you've got other containers. There's another one down here. Right? And then you connect the containers. It's a combination of connecting these containers. That to me is the easiest way to think about soloing and connecting it to chord shapes. If you're trying to do that, if you're trying to play off the chords. All right, leave a comment and let me know if you've liked this lesson or if you've had any light bulbs or epiphanies, anything that's really sort of illuminated. That's always super helpful to me. I think it's helpful to other people to see that. I'm always trying to encourage that in all these videos because when I watch video and I really connect with something, I always go to the comments and see what things have helped other people, because sometimes somebody else will point out something that I missed maybe. So anyway, I appreciate if you leave a comment and just let me know if or let us all know what's worked for you. And if you've got questions about anything or something isn't clear, I'd appreciate that as well. All right, we'll see you in the part 2 video where we'll go over the second half.